Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to CrossFit Central 1. My name is Chris, and today joining me we have,
Cute.
and we're going to be watching some Ifeatu Melifonwu with you guys today. I'm going to call him Iffy. That's what Brad Holmes called him during his pre-draft presser. His full name is Ifeatu Melifonwu. But we unfortunately were not able to find tape on YouTube of like actual versus solo tape that wasn't like quarterback tape versus the other team or whatever else. So we are going to do what I did a few years ago for the Tracy Walker video and kind of just play some highlights for you guys and break down some of the positives of his game, especially since that's what most of you guys are probably here for anyway. And read off some of the negatives that some of the other people that have watched this tape a little bit more in depth than us have on him and what they are noticing in terms of their own opinions. So, with that being said, uh, neither of us, of course, have watched Melifonwu yet this year. Of course, if we did, we would have had more tape, but uh, it'll be interesting to see some of the things that we have on him. If he's anything like his brother Obi, very, very athletic, uber athlete, and from what I saw on the ticker when he was selected, appears to have very good size. I think he came in at like 6'3" or over
Um,
6'2".
don't know what he came in. I thought it was 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, so he's got really good size for a corner, but at the same time, he's also very athletic. I'm pretty sure, in fact, that I can pull up. We do have access to that data in his RAS score. Ifeatu Melifonwu RAS. He is, yeah, a 9'7". His height is 6'2" and 4/8, so 6'2" and a half, uh, which is 98 and a half percentile out of all corners. His weight is 205, which is 94.5 percentile among all corners. His bench reps 16, which is 77 percentile, still pretty good. Vertical 41 and a half inch vertical, which is 98.8 percentile. Broad jump 11 feet 2 eighths, which is also 98 percentile and 98.7 percentile. 40-yard dash, elite 10-yard split, 1.48 10-yard split, which is 97.6 percentile. Got a little bit slower throughout the course of the 40. Only a 2.57 20-yard split, which is still pretty good. That's 85.5 percentile. And then finished the full 40 at 4.48, which is 7.35% or 73.5 percentile. So it gets a little bit slower the longer he has to run down the field, which is fine. You're not really going to have him running 40 yards downfield most of the time anyway, unless it's a vert. The interesting element about this, though, and it might be a little bit of a concern, and part of why he fell, that we are going to have to pay attention to when he comes over here, is his agility grade is poor. He had a 4.34 shuttle, which is 31st percentile, and his three cone was over 7 at 701, which is 51st percentile. So, not very agile in terms of flexibility and agility, but hopefully he can make up for that with his height, weight, speed, acceleration especially, and most importantly his burst. Of course, his burst category is his explosion coming in the 98 percentile, the high 98 percentile range. So, oh, I can actually turn this off now that Braden is here or gone. Okay, so he's probably going to be that guy there. Opened up a little early, which is fine. Okay, nice physicality contesting the catch. Only INT, so not necessarily known for his ball skills. 10 pass deflections, though, which is nice, so that may be a coaching point. Nice job staying in phase, and yeah, very nice hand usage. Good job contesting that with physicality. And 55 tackles, which is interesting, because that means that they did have him in run support role. He was the highest missed tackle rate in the nation, I believe, amongst all defensive draft eligible players. So basically the opposite of Levi. Levi was the lowest missed tackle rate in the country amongst all eligible defenders at
Oh,
4%. Iffy has quite iffy tackling. I believe his missed tackle rate was the highest amongst all draft eligible defenders, or at least very close to it.
so basically the anti-Okuda.
Yes. Look at the bottom of the screen. He is physical though. He's not unwilling, which is nice. He's a very aggressive, physical, violent tackler. Just need to work on the mechanical elements a little bit, as well as the ball skills. He's physical. He's physical at the catch point. He's physical beyond the catch point. He's physical uh, prior to the catch point. In all honesty, uh, nice interception there by Equality. Oh gosh, dang it, we have ads. So that'll be probably something that pops up, and when we get to his reports at the end, is the physicality will most likely be one of, if not his biggest strength, while the ball skills and tackling will probably be two of his bigger weaknesses.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, nice block shed. And yeah, very physical, willing tackler, just not. Okay, same thing. Nice physical, violent tackle. So my guess is, well, I'm fairly confident that his issues are with form and technique tackling. And while it's possible they could be with, oh my, with the mentals, with the pursuit angles, with the wanting to go for hits like this one, and things like that, my guess would point more towards the issue being with the form. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that can get coached up in the NFL really quickly.
Yep.
Who's our linebacker coach now?
Our linebacker coach is DeLeon,
Ah.
who came over from Chicago.
Oh, interesting.
And
Well,
then our secondary coach, of course, is Aubrey Pleasant.
yes. Wow, I don't know why I asked about our linebacker coach. I have no idea. But yes, Pleasant
To be fair,
is,
DeLeon is probably the least memorable one in the unit.
yes.
Because we got
But
Sealy, we've got Brunel, obviously QB, we've got Randall L, we've got Hank Fraley, we kept Ben Johnson, uh, and then of course Pleasant, and who the one okay, I guess defensive line isn't really. I really should know who our defensive line coach is. It's probably very obvious. I'm pretty sure he was a former player.
Kevin Anderson?
What?
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
I feel bad for not knowing that. I normally know all the assistants off the top of my head.
Do we have it? Todd Wash.
Oh, duh. Yeah, that's right. I didn't know that. Yeah, he's pretty solid too. He came over. He was the Jags DC, worked with Calais Campbell. Uh, I guess Taven Bryan.
Yannick Ngakwe.
Yeah, Nick, yep. There was another Dante Fowler for a few years. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, I think we wanted to get the Chargers guy, but then
that's right.
Staley got
Yep,
him.
yep,
Gift Smith or something.
yep. I also will say, based on this, that it doesn't appear as though Syracuse is doing the best job ever of teaching their players how to tackle. Like, Keelan, I don't know what you're doing, but if you look at this rep in particular,
Chad.
yeah. So
That looked that looked like that one run with I think it was against the Packers when Alvin Kamara just destroyed everybody.
yeah. Okay, nice. His interception should be in here too. Oh, that was nice. That was close. Are you going to show us the all? Nope. Okay. So I will have to go back and rewind this a little bit here. But the couple of things that I'm looking for are, well, first off, that was a nice pump fake by Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, look at this. So there's two things that I'm catching from this. The first one is he's doing a really nice job enforcing the boundary and making sure Trevor Lawrence has that tight window throw he has to make. And the other thing is he's doing a great job, pristine, perfect, exquisite, exceptional job of staying in phase, right in front of the wide receiver, not getting in front of him and staying underneath, uh, and giving up the over the top shot, and not giving up the getting too far in front and running too far behind and giving up the rack and letting him come back, sitting right in center there, contesting that catch. Uh, Fantastic job of staying in phase without overcommitting. Will be interesting to see what role he plays here. We do have two outside corners already, and Amani and Okuda, both of whom are very young, and at least Okuda is signed long term. Amani has 2 years left on his rookie deal.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll have Okuda for another at least 3 years. Hopefully 4. If, obviously, if he's good enough, we'll pick up the 5th. But yeah, I don't really see him as a nickel, so he may just start the season as our corner 4,
Yeah,
which is fine.
Holmes said that he thinks he has the versatility to play nickel and safety both, as well as
Interesting.
outside and the box. Uh, so he said it'll be quote up to Aubrey Pleasant and Aaron Glenn where they want to play him.
Right.
But he said that when they're evaluating him, one of the things that they liked about him is his versatility and the ability to play nickel with his size to defend big slots like AJ Brown,
Yeah.
uh, and his ability to play safety, especially with his physicality and violence there, and the ability
I
to
definitely
man
think
up
he
as a
has.
safety.
I think he has the range to play like a. He definitely has the ability to play like a cover 2 safety role.
Yeah, no, you're not putting him in single high, but he could play robber.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and then he has the physicality and the violence to play in the box too if you need him as a Hane defender. So uh, definitely a little bit of versatility there for sure. And he's basically going to be the upside pick. We talked a lot about maybe going for a guy like JOK with our second rounder. He's basically going to be our kind of, I guess, addition. of JOK in terms of that versatile hybrid cover guy, more so than having a true real position, which is probably in part why he fell too, to be honest. Because I saw a lot of people have a second round grade on him. I ended up falling to the very bottom of the third,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure that one of the main reasons as to why that might be the case is because of that positionless thing that teams seem to be uncomfortable with. Okay, nice block shed. But yeah, the first thing you're going to work on with him for sure is that tackling form. Oh, that was nice. Uh, and making sure that you solidify that tackling ability to minimize and reduce those, well, reduce and minimize those missed tackles. Ooh, nice. Yeah, he's come barely missing a couple of these. 10 PDs is pretty solid. Oh, and there's the pick. So yeah, he actually got his pick playing safety.
Nice. There's a chance we do put him on the opening day roster as our safety too, because I already know he's going to be an upgrade over what's his face, Will
Oh,
Harris. Uh,
D
Mike Brown would
Marlowe's.
be an update. Dean
D
Marlowe.
Yeah, D Marlowe's probably your safety two over Harris at this point, to be honest. That's how bad Will Harris is.
Well, regardless, I think Melifonwu could make the starting
Starter.
lineup as the safety. Yeah, because I mean
Oh, that was nice.
we have our starting corners. We do need a nickel, but I think Corn Elders. I mean,
So the
not
thing,
horrible.
okay, so here's the thing about Cornelder. He is not athletic at all. The dude has like a
Okay.
1 something RAS score. And I'll actually see if I can find that, because I should be able to find that from when Kent cover our free agencies. His RAS, oh, it wasn't even 1, it was 0.62. He has a 2, well, it may have gone, that was from 2017. So it has gone up a little bit as he's adding more players. Uh, okay, so yeah, as of 2019, does he have one later than that? No. Okay, so the last time he updated Cornelder's thing on Twitter was in 2019 in August, so this would have been before the 2020 and 2021 drafts. He had a 1.97, and his height is a 5'9" and 7/8, so almost 5'10", which is 28th percentile. Weight it was 183, which is 26th percentile. 40-yard dash is a 4.55, which is 48th percentile. 20-yard split was a 2.66, which is 41st percentile. 10-yard split is a 1.62, which is a third percentile, or I mean 30th percentile. Vertical of 35 was a 51st percentile. His broad was 9'8", which for a corner is 28th percentile, and he didn't run the Sherlin and 3 cone.
I don't
So
blame
to
him.
give you an idea on how unathletic Corn is, Levi Onwuzurike and uh, um, the other dude we just watched, McNeil, Ali
Ellie
McNeil,
McNeil.
both had basically the same, and I think McNeil had a better broad jump than Melifonwu did. I mean, than Elder did.
Sad.
So I really do think that over the course of the season, it's very possible that, of course, it's a little bit of a transition from outside boundary corner to slot. But if he ends up developing there, he has the physicality at worst uh, to be a factor in the slot. He's very physical. He has the physicality and the physical tools. He has the athleticism, again, for sure, to be able to match those faster, more athletic slot guys. Uh, if he
Hmm.
can develop a little bit more of that technique, and really what it's going to come down to for him uh, is the tackling refinement and discipline and those mental traits, uh, and making sure he solidifies those areas of his game a little bit. And I don't see any real reason why he shouldn't be able to transition to nickel. It's going to be a little bit of a transitional period for sure. But given that Cornelder is the only other nickel on the roster right now, and he is not athletic whatsoever, I would say you could start him either at nickel or at safety because he's more
Yeah.
likely than not probably day one upgrade over Marlowe too. What's interesting is I'm not necessarily sure how he. Oh my gosh, he actually injured the guy. I'm not
Sad.
necessarily sure how he compares to some of the Rams safeties that Holmes has taken in the past. I do think
Right.
that's an I do think that that's an interesting underrated kind of plot twist from this. Is Holmes is the safeties guru basically for the Rams. He's the guy who cross-checked that position. He's the guy who basically made the safeties board for them, and he was the guy who kind of ran that position group for them in terms of evaluation. So I'm very curious as to how he compares to kind of the profile of the safeties that the Rams have taken in past years. Taylor Rapp being one, I believe, who went there.
Yep.
And then of
Or
course
guys
John
like Terrell
Johnson.
Burgess.
Okay, Terrell Burgess is interesting. I could kind of see that comparison a little bit. Uh, John Johnson, I obviously like more than Melifonwu was in terms of pure safeties.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to kind of see his fit and the vision that we have for him with the coaching staff. But definitely physical talent there for sure, and a lot to be optimistic about with the upside. And like we talked about with the first few guys, and especially with Sewell yesterday, this is going to be a team that at this point is going mainly dash largely dash and at this point exclusively this year for the upside rather than the polish. So
Yeah.
fits that kind of brand of going for elite athletes who are going to have upside to be good in 3 or 4 years down the line, but not necessarily on day one.
Yeah.
So, Keelan, do you have the report that I told
I
you to pull
do.
up beforehand? Cool.
I do. I have a couple. So first off, I'm gonna go from the draftnetwork.com, written by Joe Marino. So just to skim his summary. He says that Melifonwu is a long-range, athletic, and physical corner, making him a toolsy prospect that has a high upside. His best fit is as his own corner, where his length, ball skills, and ability to read the backfield and leverage routes shine.
Okay,
He's an
yeah,
above average.
so let's kind of take this a little bit step by step here. The fact that he projects as a zone corner I think is very fair. And that also kind of points to, okay, maybe there is a little bit of a blurred line between your hyper zone corners, especially in your safeties, and the style of which they play. Uh, so just throwing that out there. On the other hand, I did see something about him potentially being a press man guy too at one point. So
Yeah.
maybe he'll get into that a little bit as you continue reading on.
Yeah. He says he's an above-average run defender and could be relied upon to make tackles. Should his 2020 campaign be the norm moving forward? So I guess based on his wording, maybe his run defense and tackling improved from 2019 to 2020.
Okay.
He does have some appeal in press man coverage, you did call this, where his physicality, quick feet, and length are assets.
Yep.
While his ball production in college was modest, he has the potential to be disruptive at the catch point in the NFL.
Yep, so I talked about that during the highlight film, and okay, I saw the one interception, like, oh, okay, you're not really seeing a whole lot of the ball skills and the ball production, but you do see the time pass deflections, and then on the highlight film that we just watched, you got to see
Yep,
a very physical cover guy at the catch point. So that's
yep,
something I'm right in line with for sure there.
yep. The most notable room for him to grow is his route anticipation skills
Yep,
and
okay.
becoming more consistent with coverage spacing.
Yep, so we talked about those mental traits, right? That's going to be the biggest adjustment for him, especially if he's going to be switching to slot or safety spot.
Yeah.
uh, Developing those mental, and part of that will come with time, part of that will come with system, part of that will come with all the other things that will need to adjust for sure. But yeah, it's yeah, again, right in line with that for sure.
And good that you brought up the nickel thing again, because this is the next line. I would understand that the idea that his best fit at the next level could come at safety or even as a big nickel that is somewhat of a positionless sub-package defender. Melifonwu has the potential to develop into a terrific starter as he becomes more consistent and solidifies his technique.
Yep.
And you and he just lists his ideal role as starting outside corner and scheme fit zone.
So yeah, and it's possible, like, okay, maybe they don't like Amani as much as I do, Dash did. Maybe Okura
Yeah,
doesn't develop, maybe he has to play outside a little bit. Obviously, if there's an injury, he has the flexibility to be able to play outside for depth purposes, which is something to keep in mind. But I do think, in terms of the way that I would kind of shape this, being as high as I am on Amani and Okuda, I would at least originally year one, try him out at either the safety spot opposite Tracy or the nickel spot, competing with Corn.
right.
And Holmes
And
talked about that briefly too during his presser, and how that vision is kind of blurry right now.
yeah, and I'm just gonna go briefly through some of the traits that he has listed. He doesn't have like a positive or negative, but instead he describes each trait that he looks for and how,
Okay.
uh, if he did. So for man coverage, he says Melifonwu is more experienced in zone, but he has the length, quickness, speed, and fluidity that serves him well, matching receivers. He has sufficient route anticipation skills and the physical gifts to help increase his margin for error. He has flashes in press coverage where he's able to cap routes quickly and take them off the menu. He's fairly high hipped and his base can narrow, which presents challenges in man.
So what we're seeing so far is that a lot of the, at least you're actually looking at it, so you might be able to correct me on this. Well, a lot of what I appear to be hearing is that he has the physical tools that project him to be a good man cover corner, but the technical refinement is very lackluster at this point. Does that
Correct.
sound like what you're reading?
Yes. We're going to move to zone. Melifonwu is terrific at reading the backfield and getting into throwing lanes. He does well to stay leveraged, and he knows how to layer coverage for the most part, but he can get caught between zones and become too aggressive, and he has to improve his anticipation, which is stuff that can get coached. I know guys like Aaron Glenn and Aubrey Pleasant. That's what they're there for. They're really good coaches. Uh, did you see anything you disagree there from what you saw in the highlight?
Nothing in particular. No. I actually was able to pull up his PFF profile as well. So when you're done with that, uh,
Sure.
I have the PFF thing we can take a look at as well to kind of give us an even more advanced.
Yeah. So he went through ball skills, and Melifonwu had 13 pass breakups and 3 interceptions over the last 2 seasons. But he still has the ability to break on the football with good timing and can drive forward on the ball and track it over his shoulder. His length and athleticism complement his ability to make plays on the ball and can be disruptive at catch point, which I think that's what we saw. I mean, he obviously doesn't have the box score stats, but he does have the ability and the athleticism and the length to be able to make plays on the ball, which is something I'm a fan of. He has super long arms, from what it looks like on film at least.
Yep, for sure.
Um, for tackling, it says Melifonwu grew as a tackler, comparing 2019 to 2020. He showed better enthusiasm, contact balance, hitting power, and wrap-up technique this year opposed to last year. Well, 2020 opposed to 2019.
So
His length.
so just to go back to the arm length point,
Mhm.
his hands are small. His hands are only 8.75, which is 23rd percentile, but his arm length is 32.35, which is 80th percentile amongst
So
corners.
maybe the hands have something to do with the lack of interceptions.
I mean, it could, theoretically.
Yeah, but yeah, his long arms and his length. Once again, we bring up the length. He can expand his tackling radius and finish outside his frame because of his long arms. Versatility says Malfon is best suited for zone-heavy defenses, although he has the athleticism inside to find success in press man. There's appeal to play him at safety because his traits translate there. He's sound in coverage and run support, making him a balanced defender that can execute a variety of coverage techniques. And then we go down to competitive toughness. This is going to be something very important for this regime, obviously. We've all heard the press conference quotes, and yeah. Melifonwu is scrappy and assertive at the catch point and is enthusiastic about tackling. He was notably better in 2020 at playing off contact and getting off block in pursuit. He has the physical gifts to be an imposing matchup for offenses. We're gonna kind of scroll down here, talking about his athleticism. He's springy and fast. He's got the pretty, really good he's a good athlete. Football IQ. He appears comfortable in coverage, but has room to grow when it comes to anticipation. He needs to be careful with how aggressive he gets, and he reads the backfield well. Run defense was good. Length, obviously, great, and they had the pro comp as Akella Witherspoon.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I'm kind of getting some Kevin King vibes a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh, Longer, lankier corner, plays for the Packers.
yeah,
Also more of his own guy. Obviously, he's a much better athlete than Kevin King was, which is kind of where that comparison ends, but
yeah.
interesting. So is that all you have from that one?
Yes.
Cool. So just gonna scroll through this one briefly. This is from PFF. He played running back, receiver, and defender in high school, recorded 1,876 rushing yards and 25 touchdowns as a senior running back. Multi-sport athlete who played basketball, lacrosse, and track. However, the only offers he received from Power 5 schools were from the University of Michigan Wolverines and from Syracuse. And due to obvious reasons, aka playing time, it doesn't actually say that, but I'm saying that uh, he ended up choosing Syracuse, of course. So, which was more likely than not the right decision for him to be able to actually get in the field. Uh, this season, his grade went up. So he's a 3-year starter. Actually, not starter, but he's played multiple hundred snaps in 3 seasons. Grade went from 70 almost 6 to 72 to 70 almost 9. Uh, Targets receptions were 33 out of 50, so he's got not the best completion percentage against. Uh, Gave up 394 yards in coverage out of 451 snaps, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an 84 or 94.9 passer rating, which is a career worst by a lot. Both movers are physical freaks. He suffers from a distinct lack of physicality. One would think a 6'3", 213-pound corner like Melifonwu would be a dog at the line of scrimmage, but that couldn't be further from the case. He excels because of his athletic ability, not because he wants to press the line. Far less of a concern at corner than safety. The question remains, can he coach mentality? Their biggest positives and negatives: positive, rare athlete, wingspan, burst, transitional athleticism. Cons, does not play to size, overruns routes, overall feel for the position, so instincts, and not experienced in press. Coverage grade is a 79, run defense grade is a 72.8, so 73. Man grade is a 73.5, and zone grade is a 75.5. And he played 3 snaps at free safety, 76 snaps in the box, 818 at boundary corner, 6 snaps at slot corner, and 5 snaps on the defensive line. Sucks at covering downfield. 3 completions out of 8 targets for 2 touchdowns with a 55 coverage grade and 121 passer rating. But underneath, he's pretty good. 31 passer rating allowed in the intermediate range on 5 of 11. And then his best coverage grade was 1 to 9 yards. And despite giving up 18 of 24 completions, he only allowed, or his passer rating was 90.8, and his coverage grade was a highest 75. So,
Interesting.
yeah, the analytics seem to be moderately high on him. They project him as a mid or a late second to early third round player. And of course, we got him at 101, which is basically top of the fourth. Uh, so, yeah, it's hard to be disappointed with that at all for sure. And it's an upside pick, really, is where he goes. Just being blunt.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have any other final thoughts on Melifonwu before we wrap this one up? Unfortunately, we weren't able to show a whole lot of film, but we got to kind of express some thoughts about him.
Yeah, I don't have too much thoughts on him. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does in training camp and the preseason and all that because we don't really know a whole lot about him. Well, unless you have access to actual game film.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely excited to see what happens. Obviously, being a third round pick, he's gonna make the roster unless he does something stupid.
Oh, that's media
But
availability, not tape. My fault.
pardon me.
That was the highlights. I thought that was the highlights. Never mind, keep going.
Anyways, But yeah, he's a talented player. From what it looks like, definitely has all the upside in the world, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Nice. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It wasn't really a normal video like the first three that we did in this series were, uh, but hopefully the guys we draft tomorrow have some more tape than he did, and we're able to find some things on him here down the line. But yeah, this definitely looking forward to seeing more from him over the course of the next couple days, weeks, months, and years in his time as a Detroit Lion. But for now, hopefully, guys, stay safe, have a happy, healthy rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this over the course of the rest of the draft season. We have hopefully videos coming out on the fourth and fifth round picks, if not more, pending a trade back or up tomorrow. So, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day, and for now, peace out.